What is up, everyone? Welcome back to our lawn and welcome to the 2024 year in review. And this year, because I just finished up picking up all the leaves and mowing all of this back here, instead of doing my normal video where we walk and talk, I show you everything, whatever, what we're going to do this year is I'm going to set you up behind the green from wherever I'm playing, and I'm going to play my little 9-hole course here, get a little bit of use out of the green, and talk to you about what happened here this year in our lawn. And so, like I said, this is going to be the year in review. So we're going to go over what sort of program that I ran in each part of my lawn, some lessons I learned this year that I think are important and helpful, how the year went, what sort of things I did and about what I spent. And we're going to do all that through the lens of being able to use our backyard golf course. And so we are on the first hole here at Sabre GC. Pretty much impossible. Everything's a par 3. Basically just want to be down past the hole, chipping back up. Something like that. And also, since we're golfing at home, and I have the simulator and I have this golf course back here, but the golf content doesn't really jive with the lawn care content, I have started a new channel, At Home Golf, which is going to follow along to everything that I'm doing on the golf side here at my house. It's sim golf. I've done a couple live streams already, so check that out if you're more interested in the golf side. And so we're going to start with the side yard. No! And that's a 3 on the first. And so the side yard has been neglected ever since I had my surgery in the spring of last year, 2023. I basically left it alone in recovery. It all died because of how dry it was. It was a tough year to grow anything, let alone a tough year to grow stuff when you're not managing the yard to the normal standard. I got to hit here before Mo Williams comes and runs me over. And so that neglect carried through to 2024. I essentially said, hey, this part of my yard, I don't have the time anymore. I have soccer practices. I have all these things that I have to do after school. Not after school, after work. And I just don't have time to manage it, so I'm going to let it go. It's probably outside of the friendship circle. And I did. So it's all brown. There's weeds everywhere. But what it did is it gave me a perfect test bed to mess around with the robot mower's height of cut. So it's down to 1 inch over there right now. And also it's giving me a test bed again going forward, where next year we're going to revisit the beginner lawn care guide and generally walk you through and show you step by step and talk about the process that we're going to go through to take a really terrible yard and make it a nice yard. So that'll be exciting for next year, some sort of project that we get to bring back. And we're going to do all of that with the robot at 1 inch height of cut. Wow, you really hate to see that. You'd think you'd have the read. This hole's been there for like 2 weeks. I've hit putts into it. I'm just bad. That's kind of just what happens. And so that's $0 of expenditure on the side yard in 2023 and 2024. I've applied exactly nothing over there. We haven't sprayed any weeds. We haven't done anything. So we're 1 over through 2. Third hole, now we get into more of the places we can attack a little bit. Stop. Stop. All right, so that's side yard, and that's the plan for side yard going forward. Now we get into the front and backyard, and this is where we can kind of talk for a period of time on what I did and why, and how you can use that yourself to kind of implement hopefully something that's a little bit easier for you and a little bit more cost effective. That one didn't break, which is frustrating. So I started off on YouTube. I started off into learning about DIY lawn care, very likely like how all of you did, which is finding the lawn care nut, getting into thrower down, hope for the best, all that sort of stuff. And generally speaking, I got myself to where I had a really nice yard. It looked good most of the time, and there was nothing inherently wrong with what I had or what was going on. But kind of the more I learned and the more I started to figure out that a lot of the stuff I was spending money on probably wasn't doing anything. And I was also probably applying a lot more fertilizer than would ever be necessary on a lawn. And so because I had a YouTube channel and because I wanted to learn myself, I started a journey in my front and backyard of seeing just how little I can get away with doing applying. Fourth hole, still 1 over. Oh my goodness, sit. That's not good at all. And so that brings me to 2023. I have the knee surgery. I can't really do anything, which really pushes forth this narrative. So 2023, I did the math last year. I believe I put down about 1¼ pounds of N for the whole season. By the end of the year, my yard looked really good. This spring, I applied nothing. My yard looked amazing. Everything came out of dormancy. It does what cool season grass does. This putt is lightning fast. Oh no, sit. Okay, see if we can clean this up. Excellent. And so like I was saying, I really pushed what I was able to get away with from a fertilization perspective. And for a long time, I was really happy with that until we got to about the July, August period of time when I was expecting that my yard would start to recover from the stress through the summer. And it just wasn't seeming to grow with kind of the vigor that I would want it to and expect it to. 5th hole up the hill, easiest hole on the golf course. How when you hit it like that, it isn't. And so then I started to find kind of the boundaries of what applying less fertilizer has, which is you're not going to get the kind of color that you want all the time. You're not going to get the recovery speed that you'd hope for, and you're not going to have the kind of turf quality that you want. So there's, from the old green, there's a little kind of valley that runs through here. And so I'm not really sure actually which way this putt breaks. I also have a ball mark in the way that I'm not going to repair. So we're just getting the excuses out of the way. Went left. So then we get into September, October. I actually went pretty heavy. I probably put out 1.5 pounds of N between September and October, and everything has really started to rebound. Same with the practice facility, but we're not there yet. Making this a lot more difficult than it should be. And so like I said, that's kind of where we get into some of the lessons that we can learn from me, or you can learn from me in my kind of journey to do as little as possible. We'll go back out into the fairway expansion here, play the tips, if you will. Is that you can really get away with probably doing a lot less and spending a lot less than maybe you think you have to have a nice yard. But there are limits to that. You do have to eventually, you know, kind of keep an eye on what's going on. If you're starting to see slowed color response, starting to see slowed recovery, then it's probably time to get out there and hit it with some N. And so I did. I saw great response, great results. I'm super happy with the yard now. The robot has the height of cut down to 1.4 inches, which I'm also incredibly happy with, and I think will be amazing from a turf quality perspective for next year. So we're still 1 over here. It'd be nice to make it 2 at some point. 6th hole. Hit these softer, you moron. And outside of the limited fertilizer I did this year on the main yards as well, I also experimented with doing no fungicide applications. And I found actually a fair bit of success with that. I really only started to have disease issues more towards the end of the year, August, September. Oh, that's a good putt. And no real disease issues, like I'd said, and the disease issues we did have, they have since grown out. Everything looks good now. Robot's maintaining it. Everything's look good, happy, 1.4 inches, like I said. Couldn't complain. And then we get to the practice facility, this nice little oasis that we're currently playing golf on. And this year, I thought I was finally going to do it. I thought I was finally going to have a nice, well-maintained fairway. I wasn't going to have it all die off, and it was going to work for just once. I was assisted by the fact that we got a ton of rain through, honestly, even July, and we were able to get without having to water, so I didn't have to lose out on, you know, time and watering and doing all that. And it generally took care of itself, and I was very, very happy with how everything was going. Closer. Happy with everything. I had stayed right on schedule with fungicides. I'd stayed right on schedule with plant growth regulator. Super happy with everything. And then I went on the road. We had a busy couple weekends with soccer and other engagements. I was due for fungicide. I missed it. And dollar spot started to creep in. I've made a video on that. You can go check that out when everything was going awry. So dollar spot creeps in. I'm out of my annual limit on Armada. So I go to propiconazole and azoxystrobin, which are not great against dollar spot. They're okay. It's on the label, but it did nothing. It didn't slow it down. It completely took over. I lost vast majority of the fairway expansion over there. I lost some of this expansion in here. I lost a lot of really all the fairway expansions. The green thinned out really bad, and it was brutal. But I, again, was pretty light on fertilizers, so it wasn't growing super vigorously. So we got Armada out one last time just to make sure we get the disease under control. It did. It got the disease. No more dollar spot issues, and I pounded N back here through the end of the year. I'm going to say from September through, as we stand right now, probably 2, if not more, pounds of N on the practice facility in that time. And it looks incredible right now. We finally started to get some rain. We finally started to get some conditions to cool off, get a little bit of rainfall where everything's looking really good, playing really good. Fantastic back here. Dang it. Walk our way to the 8th hole tee, which with the fairway expansion and the green expansion now is almost impossible to play from over here because everything falls so hard to the right and we don't have the fairway anymore to catch the ball and slow it down before it gets to the green. It's tough. And we're 1 over and we really have no birdie holes left, which is depressing, but it is what it is. And so yeah, right now practice facility is as nice as it's ever been going into winter. We got a lot of bare spots back here where I'm standing, but that's okay. I think next year, hopefully, my plan is in the spring to get irrigation in here so that I can do a little bit more with kind of overseeding some of the bent throughout, get some of that to establish a little bit better, fill in some of these bare spots back here, do another project there. But really, all I've highlighted this year is the incredible importance of maintaining a fungicide program. So next year, May, April, if I need it, will be azoxy and propiconazole when I don't have the strong disease pressure. Then we'll use Armada for June, July, August, September to get the annual maximum of applications there. And we'll get azoxy and propiconazole through the end of the year when that disease pressure subsides again. In the hopes that we maintain all this, bentgrass does what it has done every year, which is fill in all of the gaps that we have, completely heal itself up. But this time, hopefully it won't die. So again, like I said here, 8th hole, we're 1 over, really difficult shot. Scrambling percentage currently is 0. For those of you keeping score, I have not made a 2 yet. That's as good as you can do it. Boys, that's as good as you can do it. Oh, that's perfect. Watch me yip it about 18 inches for a 2 here. There we go. 9th hole goes back up the yard, so we're back down the hill. Pretty much impossible again. And I did stay on top of top dressing the green as well. Again, I have a sand pile back over there. My last video was on the process that I use to top dress my green. I do that fairly consistently throughout the year. Once a month, once every 6 weeks or so, just to maintain that top layer, because sediment, worm castings, and all sorts of stuff can kind of build up on the surface and it starts to create a little bit of a lasagna for you. I do unfortunately have one sand layer and then that kind of mud layer from the worms, because 2022, I think it was, I didn't top dress, so I do have kind of a mud layer in there, which is not great, but that aeration I did with the drilling holes seems to have kind of solved any problems on the green. It usually does quite well. All right, here we go. We're gonna go for a hero one here. So basically we gotta go high soft and we gotta land it 4 inches back in the rough, if you will, and it'll just trickle down. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I did exactly what I said I needed to do. Oh, that's all right, that was a good shot. And so there you go, we're gonna wrap up the round here. Hopefully I can 2-putt from here, even par. Who knows, maybe we make it, but not likely from up here. All in all, a good year here in the lawn. We learned things that we can take, communicate on to all of you, hopefully help for myself to get this going forward. I think this putt's gonna go left early and then just fall to the right at the end. Careful with the speed. Oh, man. Hit some good ones because I just didn't want to fall. And there we go, year in review completed. I'll probably do one more video this year and it will be my first 3-month impression of the Sunseeker X7, Orion X7 that I have here that's been maintaining all of my yard for the last 3 months or so. I'll kind of give you my thoughts on that. Spoiler alert, I love it and I recommend robots for everyone. But anyway, much like the last 2 years, I haven't made the amount of content that I want to make. I haven't done the things that I want to do back here. And so those of you that still watch, you hang around, you watch all the videos, I say thanks for watching and we'll see you next time at the end of every video. I'm not just saying that as an outro. I'm not just saying, I truly mean thank you to every single one of you that makes it to this part of these videos. I'm super appreciative of you. It helps kind of inspire me to do everything that I do back here. So again, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any questions you have, anything I didn't cover or touch on that you were hoping I was going to talk about. I will be happy. I always reply to every comment that I get, with very, very few exceptions. So leave a comment below. Let me know what thoughts you have, what questions you have, how your year went. And like I said, as always, thank you so much for watching. Go subscribe to my at-home golf channel so we can hang out and we can play some golf over the winter. And we'll see you next time.